guys, this is Kelly. I'm back with another process video. This layout is for Citrus Twist, and I am up today as a support for the sketch challenge. I just had the sketch up and I was immediately drawn to the vertical title. Titles on a vertical angle or just anything that is a little bit unusual with the titles are generally not one of my go-to designs. So when I see something like this, I want to try to incorporate things that I don't normally do. So when I was looking at the sketch, I knew that I wanted to keep the strips of pattern paper on the side and to have a vertical title. And as I was going through some of my photos, I saw that I had these two of my kids on the first day of school, and I thought that they would be perfect to use with some of the colors that are in the kit, and I chose those just to start with. So I'm just trimming up the photos. They are 3 by 4, and I am mounting them on white cardstock. I like to do that just because I feel like it sets apart my photos from any of the pattern paper, and then I can layer the different pattern papers, and it just helps to make the photo pop. So very rarely do I not mat my photos, and when I do, it's generally in white. Occasionally it will be with colored cardstock, and when I do that, it's because the photo has a lot of white in it. So I'm just taking this paper, I believe it's a Bella Boulevard paper, and I'm just trimming it down so you can see just a hint of gray, and I am going to pop up the photo on the right because that's the one of them actually smiling and looking good, and the other photo is my son is looking down like he's so sad, and my daughter's making a face. This was, you know, when I said how they were feeling about starting school, this was their faces. So I just thought it would be cute to incorporate. This piece of paper right here is gorgeous. It is my favorite, and it is exclusive to Citrus Twist. That was a tongue twister for me. It is exclusive to Citrus Twist. So it is cross stitch. That's what I'm trying to say all at once. And it's like a rainbow cross stitch, and it is just gorgeous. Oh my gosh, I wish I would have known how pretty it was going to be because I would have ordered several more sheets of it. I love it. So I'm going to back both of my photos in this paper, and I'm going to use it as one of my pattern strips down the left side of my page. It is just one of those go-to papers that I wish I had multiple sheets of. Anyway, so I'm going to stay pretty close to the sketch. It's not that I was intending to necessarily, other than the title, but you know, sometimes when your elements just kind of work out that way, it's just easier for me, I think, just to go along with it and not fight it. At this point, I'm trying to figure out what, if I want any other layers behind the photos, and if I do, what they're going to be. I was contemplating this graph paper. It's the other side of the exclusive paper, and I like that as well, but it just really wasn't showing up enough. And when I have a paper that I love like this, if it's not really going to make an impact, I don't want to waste it. So here is where I decided to go ahead and just pop up this one photo. I have seen other people say that they have trouble using ATG with the craft foam. I don't. I find that if I use the tape directly onto the paper layers and then place the foam on top of it, it's fine. So the main kit had 2 doilies, and if you have followed me for any length of time, you know how much I love doilies. So I decided to layer one of those doilies behind the main photo, and I'm going to have a cluster at the top of the photo and at the bottom. This page is a little unusual for me because it ends up with 4 clusters. Usually I just do 3. Or sometimes 2 if the page is on a diagonal, but it worked well for this one to have 4 clusters, so I just went with it. So at this point, I'm trying to figure out which strips that I want on the side, and the washi tape booklet was part of the embellishment add-on, so I pulled out this red scallop, and I thought that I would use it on the side, but I just didn't like the way that it looked. So I decided to trim it down, and I'm going to save that little part to try to work onto another project. And I'm just going to pull it up so that I can not only get it even, but just trim the edges a little bit so that it looks like it was meant to be the length that it's cut, as opposed to just looking like it was cut. And I really like the way that that scallop washi looks underneath that paper layer. The washi is gorgeous with this new line from Paige Evans. I like it because it's this particular one that I've used. It's not translucent. It, you know, still has a look of, you know, it doesn't look like the typical washi. You know, when you put some washi down and it starts looking like it's going to peel up, and it's a little bit see-through or translucent. It really is a nice washi tape and a nice thickness to it. So another thing that was in the embellishment add-on was some of this Maggie Holmes ribbon. I got the pink little, I wanted to say rickrack. It's not rickrack, but the little popcorn-like, and I love it, but I just couldn't get it to work on the page. And I didn't want to use like a whole 12-inch strip on the side. And the other thing that I struggled with, and this is just me because I have little, you know, idiosyncrasies, because the washi tape is more of a red, I didn't want to add two different things that had red and pink, which doesn't really make sense, because if you look at the papers that I'm using and the embellishments that I'm using, they have pink. So why can I not get the pink, I'm just going to call it ribbon. I'm not sure what exactly, pom-pom trim, thank you. I'm not sure what my hang up was on getting that on this page. I really wanted it, but it just wasn't working. So, you know, sometimes instead of me trying to fight with something and make it work, I'd rather just put it aside, see how my page is going to develop, and sometimes it will actually just get to the point where it will then work on the page. You know, I found that it saves me time. I don't know if I'm the only one that does that, you know, trying to fight with something to make it work on the page, but I just, you know, after so many years of doing this, you finally figure out what works and what doesn't work for you. So I was thinking about layering a tag and doing a little bit of hidden journaling, but then I just thought, you know, there really isn't a whole lot of journaling to be said on this page. I know that I'm just going to put something along the lines of first day of school and, you know, their grades, and probably just leave it at that. The embellishments that I'm going to be choosing a little bit later have a few phrases, and they definitely help to tell the story. One of the embellishments is actually already on the page, and I did put some pop dots underneath it. It is that banner ribbon in that bottom right-hand corner of the photo, and it says old endings, new beginnings. One of the things that I truly love about this collection, the Turn the Page collection, is it has so many different meanings. You know, when you're turning the page, it's a new chapter, a new beginning. It could be a new job. It could be, you know, the birth of a baby. And for, you know, this, I'm using it for, you know, a new school year. So many different ways to use, you know, her phrases. And to me, that is one of the things that I love, because I can take something and I can use it in a way that maybe inspires you to use it in a way you hadn't thought of. And I will see somebody else use something in a way that I hadn't thought of. And it's just, that is the beauty of collections that are so non-themed, I guess is what I'm trying to say. It's just, it can be used in so many different ways. And I really appreciate that, because I feel like when I'm buying something like that, if I can buy something that I can use on multiple different themes and pages, that I really get my money's worth. I hope that made sense. So anyway, I'm tired of moving everything around. I want to go ahead and get things stuck on the page. I'm really happy with the way this page is coming together, and I've decided to layer the photo just a little bit over top the main focal photo, a little bit over top of the photo to the left, And I like the way that just, I've made it a little askew. It's enough, it's noticeable enough to know that I feel like you can see that I've done it on purpose, but it's not so askew that it makes your eye drawn to it, if that makes sense, and makes it look like, you know, did she mean to do that? I guess she did. I'm not sure. I like to do that sometimes just for a little bit of a visual interest. So I tried to get this little strip of washi tape to work as well that I just added to the top, and that was before I really focused on getting the cluster above my photo as well. And I thought, you know what, I've got labels that are going above the photo. I don't need that extra washi tape. As I'm looking at it, my eye just immediately goes to it. So when I came back to the page, I just took it away. I have determined that my title is just going to be Smile. I couldn't really come up with anything else that was appropriate and that would be good enough or long enough or short enough to use in that space. Now, it's definitely a title that I've used multiple times, but I have just come to acknowledge that I'm going to use the same title multiple times, and I don't think anybody's going to ever look through my albums and think, oh my gracious, how many times can she put Smile down? Because when I put my pages in my albums, they are so different that I don't have 5 pages that all say Smile right next to one another. I hope that makes sense. Sometimes just trying to come up with a creative title is too much work. I love these thickers from Paige Evans, and I just, you know, for me to use thickers that are different colors sometimes is a little bit difficult, and that would just be because I am funny like that. But I felt like with this page it worked so beautifully, and it just pulled in the colors of that floral paper, and you know, being on the vertical design and also being the different colors, I just really felt like this page was a happy page. And at this point, as I'm making it, you know, it's one of those things that just truly did make me smile, not to play off of the title or anything, but you know, some of the pages are actually joyous for me to make, and this was one of those. So I did type up my journaling on my computer and printed it off real quick. Like I said, it's not too descriptive. It's first day of school and senior and sophomore. The font that I do use is Traveling Typewriter. So this little puffy sticker came in the Project Life kit, and I adore this one. It says every day is a fresh start, and I love the way that the little birdie looks like he's saying it. You know, one of my deals or my hang-ups with the speech bubbles is the little downward part always is pointing in the wrong direction of either my photo or my embellishment, and this one worked out perfectly. I thought it was just adorable. So that is definitely my favorite cluster of this little bunch. So the last thing I do is I'm going to put on a few more puffy stickers, and that's it. My page is done. I have some close-ups at the end. Thank you so much for joining me today. I will see you soon. Take care. Have a great day. Bye.